Most farmers are told that a productive homestead means staying busy, tilling, seeding, and replanting the same crops every single spring. But for a lot of us, that cycle just leads to exhaustion, rising costs, and the quiet feeling that we're always starting over. What actually changes things is building a simple, intentional system that keeps working, even when you don't have the energy to start from scratch again. In this video, I'm sharing 7 perennial plants that, once established, can feed your livestock for up to 2 decades, with far less labor, far less cost, and far more peace of mind. If you're someone who wants a self-sufficient, sustainable homestead without the constant grind, this channel is for you. I post calm, practical ideas like this every week, and subscribing means this kind of clarity will just show up for you. I'm really glad you found your way here. Let's start. If you've been farming or homesteading for any length of time, you already know the cost of the annual cycle. Not just in money, but in time and physical energy. Every spring, you're back at the beginning, tilling, seeding, watering, waiting, and doing it all over again the following year. There's a smarter, more sustainable path that experienced farmers have quietly relied on for generations: perennial forage systems. These are plants and trees you establish once, and they keep producing nutritious feed for your livestock year after year, sometimes for decades. In this video, we're covering 7 of the most productive, low-maintenance perennials available to U.S. homesteaders. By the end, you'll have a clear, practical plan for reducing feed costs, improving your herd's health, and building the kind of self-sufficient land that works for you, not the other way around. Tip 1. Comfrey Bocking variety. This one matters because it solves a quiet problem most livestock owners live with every single day: the constant search for affordable, high-protein feed, without adding more pressure or complexity to your routine. The reason Comfrey works so well is simple. It respects how real farm life actually functions. It doesn't depend on perfect soil, ideal weather, or you having extra time. Once it's established, it does the work. Comfrey is a deep-rooted perennial herb that regrows from its roots every time it's cut. A healthy plant can produce between 4 and 6 harvests per season without any replanting. Its leaves are dense with protein, calcium, and potassium, making it one of the most nutritionally complete plants you can grow for chickens, rabbits, goats, and pigs. To start, purchase Bocking variety root cuttings from a reputable U.S. nursery or online supplier. This specific variety is sterile, meaning it won't spread and take over your land the way wild Comfrey can. Plant the cuttings about 2 to 3 feet apart in a dedicated bed, along a fence line, or near a water source. Comfrey thrives with consistent moisture. What you're doing is simply allowing the plant to establish itself through its first full season. Resist the urge to cut it that first year. Let the roots go deep. Starting in year 2, cut the leaves down to about 2 inches above the ground whenever the plant reaches knee height. It will regrow within weeks. To keep it going, focus on just one thing: never pull the roots. Even if you cut Comfrey aggressively, it will come back. That resilience is exactly what makes it a life-changing addition to a working homestead. Over time, a single established Comfrey bed becomes a reliable, low-cost protein source that reduces your dependence on expensive commercial feed, a genuine long-term investment in your land's productivity. A small thing that makes this even easier is planting Comfrey near where you already walk daily. When it's on your natural path, harvesting becomes effortless, just part of your routine. Tip 2. Chicory. This one matters because it quietly solves one of the most frustrating problems in summer grazing: pastures going thin and dry right when your livestock need them most, without requiring you to plant anything new in the ground each year. Chicory is a deep-rooted perennial that survives and thrives where shallow-rooted grasses fail. Its taproot reaches far into the subsoil, pulling up moisture and minerals that surface-level plants simply can't access. This means chicory stays green and productive during summer heat and dry spells, exactly when other forage options are struggling. Beyond drought resistance, chicory contains natural compounds shown to reduce internal parasite loads in sheep and goats, which means healthier animals and lower veterinary costs over time. For U.S. farmers managing small flocks, that's a meaningful financial benefit. To start, broadcast chicory seed into your existing pasture in early spring or early fall. It establishes well when seeded alongside other perennial grasses. You don't need to clear or till a separate area. What you're doing is allowing chicory to naturalize within your pasture over one full season. During that first year, graze lightly or not at all on areas where it's establishing. This patience pays off significantly in years 2 and beyond. To keep it going, practice rotational grazing. Never graze chicory below 3 inches and always allow full recovery between grazing periods. Managed this way, a chicory-rich pasture can remain highly productive for many years. The practical payoff here is substantial. A naturally healthier, more self-sufficient herd that requires less supplemental feeding and less chemical parasite treatment. A small tip that makes management easier is mixing chicory with broadleaf plantain and clover when seeding. Together, they create a diverse, resilient pasture blend that supports your livestock's health across every season. Tip 3. Siberian pea shrub. This one matters because it addresses a quiet problem that quietly drains family farm budgets every single year. The rising cost of protein supplements like soybean meal and commercial feed pellets, without requiring ongoing purchases or complicated systems. The Siberian pea shrub, also called caragana, is a hardy nitrogen-fixing shrub that produces small, protein-rich seed pods relished by chickens, pigs, and other livestock. What makes it genuinely rare among perennial options is that it does double duty. While feeding your animals, its root system actively fixes nitrogen into the surrounding soil, naturally improving fertility without chemical fertilizers. This is a plant that gives back to your land while it feeds your herd. To start, plant bare-root caragana seedlings along field borders, fence lines, or as windbreaks on the north and west sides of your property. These positions maximize their value. They feed livestock, shelter animals from harsh weather, and enrich the soil they're growing in simultaneously. What you're doing in the first 2 to 3 years is simply allowing the shrubs to mature. Caragana requires patience up front, but that patience is the only real requirement. No complicated inputs, no annual replanting. To keep it going, do a light pruning after pod drop each fall to maintain shape and encourage dense growth the following season. That's the full extent of ongoing maintenance. Over time, the payoff is quietly life-changing for a working homestead. Free, self-produced protein that reduces your dependence on outside suppliers and builds genuine financial resilience into your operation year after year. Tip 4. Mulberry tree. This one matters because it solves a quiet problem that most livestock owners never think to address. The fact that shade, fruit, and high-quality leaf fodder are all treated as separate expenses, when one productive, long-lived tree can provide all three simultaneously. Mulberry leaves are exceptionally high in protein, comparable in nutritional value to alfalfa, and are eagerly eaten by goats, chickens, pigs, and cattle. The fruit that falls naturally to the ground provides energy-rich sugars that animals consume freely. A healthy mulberry tree planted today can remain productive and valuable for 50 or more years, making it one of the strongest long-term investments you can make in your homestead's food system. To start, source a fast-growing variety like Illinois Everbearing from a local U.S. nursery or reputable mail-order supplier. Plant in full sun with adequate spacing, at least 15 feet from other trees or structures. What you're doing in the first few years is training the tree to a multi-stem bush form by pruning the central leader early. This keeps the canopy low and wide, putting leaves and fruit within easy reach of your livestock without requiring ladders or extra equipment. To keep it going, do 1 round of light pruning each year after the tree goes dormant in late fall. This encourages dense, productive regrowth and keeps the form manageable. Beyond the feed value, mulberry trees provide meaningful shade during summer heat, reducing heat stress in your animals and improving their overall health and productivity. A small but useful tip: plant mulberry trees at the edge of your main grazing paddock so animals can browse naturally during rotation without needing you to harvest and carry leaves separately. Tip 5. Alfalfa, established perennial stand. This one matters because buying hay is one of the largest and most predictable recurring costs on any small farm, and a well-managed alfalfa stand is one of the most direct, sustainable ways to bring that cost down significantly without sacrificing the quality your animals need. Alfalfa is widely regarded as the gold standard of livestock forage, high in protein, calcium, and energy, and consistently preferred by cattle, horses, goats, and rabbits. When established correctly and managed well, a single alfalfa stand can remain productive for 5 to 10 years, producing multiple cuts per season without replanting. For U.S. homesteaders facing rising hay prices, that kind of productive stability is genuinely valuable. To start, prepare a well-drained bed. Alfalfa will not tolerate standing water. Before seeding, inoculate your seed with rhizobium bacteria, which are available from most farm supply stores. This step is critical. It activates alfalfa's nitrogen-fixing ability and dramatically improves establishment success. What you're doing is seeding in early spring or late summer, depending on your region, and allowing the stand to establish without being grazed or cut in its first season. This foundational patience protects the stand's long-term health. To keep it going, cut at the early bloom stage, when roughly 1 in 10 plants shows its first flower. Never let the full field reach peak bloom before the first cut, as this weakens the root reserves. Allow full regrowth between cuts, and avoid overgrazing if animals have direct access. The long-term payoff is a meaningful, measurable reduction in feed costs, and the quiet confidence of knowing your land is producing some of the most nutritious forage available, season after season. If this is already changing how you think about your land, go ahead and give this video a like. It tells YouTube to share these ideas with more people who need them. And I'm genuinely curious, which one of these feels the most realistic for your setup right now? Drop it in the comments below. I actually read every single one, and I'd love to know where you're starting. Tip 6. Broadleaf plantain. This one matters because it quietly solves a problem that most livestock owners overlook entirely: the lack of medicinal variety in everyday pasture, without requiring a single purchase, a single seed order, or any extra labor at all. Broadleaf plantain is already growing on most U.S. homesteads. Most farmers spend time and energy pulling it out, not realizing it's one of the most productive, health-supporting perennial plants they have access to. Plantain contains natural compounds that are anti-parasitic and anti-inflammatory, making it genuinely beneficial for sheep, goats, chickens, and rabbits. Animals that have free access to plantain in their pasture tend to self-regulate their intake, consuming more when they need it and less when they don't. This kind of natural, self-sufficient herd health is rare and valuable. To start, simply stop removing plantain from your pastures. That is the entire first step. Recognize it as an asset, not a weed, and allow it to naturalize across your grazing areas. What you're doing is allowing your livestock to integrate plantain into their natural grazing behavior. In areas where coverage is thin, scatter broadleaf plantain seed, available inexpensively from U.S. forage seed suppliers, to fill in bare patches and increase availability. To keep it going, manage through rotational grazing as you would with any forage plant. Avoid overgrazing a single area, and the plantain will continue to self-seed and spread naturally. The payoff over time is a healthier, more resilient herd, with lower parasite burdens, reduced inflammation-related issues, and less dependence on chemical treatments. A free, already present plant quietly improving your animal's wellness every single day. Tip 7. Black locust tree. This one matters because it solves 3 quiet, expensive problems at once: the need for high-protein leaf fodder, the need for durable fencing material, and the need for reliable livestock shade. And it does all of this from a single tree that, once established, requires almost no ongoing investment. Black locust is one of the most underutilized trees on U.S. homesteads, and that's a significant missed opportunity. Its leaves contain between 25 and 30% crude protein, a remarkable figure for any forage source. And goats, cattle, and deer browse them eagerly. The wood is exceptionally rot-resistant, outperforming treated lumber in fence post durability, and the fragrant spring flowers are edible and attractive to pollinators, supporting the broader health of your property. This is a genuinely rare combination of productive value in a single perennial. To start, plant black locust from root cuttings or seedlings along field edges, property borders, or areas where you need natural windbreaks. It establishes readily in poor soils where many other plants struggle, making it ideal for marginal land that isn't currently being used productively. What you're doing over the first few years is allowing the trees to establish strong root systems. Black locust grows quickly relative to most trees, so the wait is shorter than you might expect. To keep it going, practice coppicing, cutting established trees back to a low stump every 2 to 3 years. This management technique stimulates a flush of dense, protein-rich new growth that puts leaf fodder within easy reach of browsing livestock. Control any unwanted spread by mowing around the perimeter of your planting area each season. The long-term payoff is a self-sufficient source of fodder, shade, and building material that reduces your dependence on outside suppliers and strengthens the financial resilience of your entire homestead operation. Priority bonus tip: the one system shift. Here's something most people miss when they start transitioning to perennials. And it matters more than choosing the right plant or getting the timing perfect. The real shift isn't about what you plant, it's about how you organize your land around what you plant. Most homesteaders add perennials one at a time, scattered wherever there's space. What works far better is thinking in zones. Group your perennials by 3 simple factors: how much water they need, how often you need to access them for harvest, and how close they should be to your livestock's rotation path. Plants you harvest frequently, like comfrey, belong closest to where you already walk every day. Trees like mulberry and black locust belong at the edges of your grazing paddocks, where animals can access them naturally during rotation. Shrubs like caragana belong along borders and windbreak lines, where they protect and produce simultaneously. Drawing one simple zone map, even a rough sketch on paper, before you plant anything, changes everything. It eliminates the inefficiency of scattered planting, reduces the physical effort of daily farm management, and helps each plant perform at its highest potential because it's in the right relationship with everything around it. One map, drawn once, saves you years of unnecessary labor. That single organizational shift often makes every other change on this list feel easier, without requiring more effort, more money, or more time. You don't have to overhaul your entire farm to build something that lasts. You just need to plant one thing that keeps giving, one root that goes deeper than a single season. Pick one plant from today's list. Research where to source it in your region this week. Plant it imperfectly if you have to. That's how real, lasting progress on a homestead actually starts. Not with a perfect plan, but with one steady, intentional step. And if you want more calm, practical ideas for building a self-sufficient, productive life, subscribe to Zero to Purpose. This channel is for people who want to live and farm more intentionally, without pressure, without noise, and without burning out chasing a system that doesn't fit real life. New ideas like this come every single week. Thanks for spending this time here. I'll see you in the next one.